Okay, so we are live. Make sure I get everything. Hello, everyone. We should be live now. Yes, we are. Hello. Happy Saturday, everyone. Listen, I'm so sorry. We had so much, well, I had so much going on. So, Latoya Turner, thank you so much for being patient. Y'all that registered, thank you for being patient. This is live on my Facebook page and it's live on YouTube, okay? So, it's on Phoebe's Place if you're looking for that. And I'm also going to share it on my page. But first of all, I want to introduce to you an amazing woman that I heard on Marty's live. She is phenomenal. So I want to introduce to some and present to others Latoya Turner.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. What an honor to speak for you again. Definitely enjoyed myself the last time we actually did this and was able
Yeah.
to share a lot of vital information that I know that is helpful to our community specifically. So I start off with saying thank you again and happy
No.
Juneteenth.
I know. Same to you. What I want to do, I want to give this very quick introduction. So I met her. She was on Marty's live. They were talking about finances. And those that know me and those that don't know, you know the struggle is real for me and my finances. So I was praying to God, asking for a light. I need help. And when I saw his live, she was presenting, and it was basic fundamentals of finances. Well, I booked my little appointment, and y'all, she's licensed, so you don't have to worry about her a fly by day, fly by night. She has her credentials. But I want you to introduce yourself to those that don't quite know you
Yes,
while
ma'am.
I get all this stuff set up. And introduce yourself, please.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Latoya. I consider myself a financial coach. My original field of work, I worked for in the law industry for many years. I got my associate's degree, graduated from San Bernardino Valley College with my associate's degree in paralegal studies. Worked for a law firm for quite some time. After working in that field for so long, what I realized is I wasn't helping as many people as I'd like to help. Always been the type of person that likes to be in the community and be of service to the community. So later got my real estate license, got my notary license, got my insurance license, and I'm
Mm,
able to offer financial services as well as legal services to my community. But it's a different approach as opposed to sales because we've been sold everything already. My approach is give the information, give the knowledge because so many people
mm,
benefit. And I have a saying that my kids will learn early in life what I learned late in life. I wish there was a me around when I was coming up, when I was in my 20s, that could sit me aside and say, hey, you don't want to, get a bunch of credit cards. You want to start saving for your retirement early on. Those weren't things that I didn't even know how it was possible because my mom didn't know it. And so that information
mm.
wasn't passed on to me. But what I did know is I knew how to, get a bunch of credit. And so I filed bankruptcy at the age of 23 years old.
Wow.
And I had to work my way out of that. And from that, my passion now is to really give people my experiences and my knowledge minus my mistakes. And so that's why I
Mm.
for you today with being able to pour because I know I'll be ultimately blessed as long as I keep helping other people and giving them the knowledge.
Yes, yes. And trust me, I had my first session, and she's not intimidating at all. She is very helpful. She hears you, she understands. And I was really like, I'm not doing this because, I don't need anybody telling me I'm jacked up. I know I'm jacked up, but I appreciate your approach to
Yes.
me, in reference to just finance, in
Yes.
reference to basic. I feel like I'm in a hole, but after talking to you, I feel like I'm able to climb out of the
Yes.
hole. I'm sorry, you guys. I couldn't do her. I couldn't show her presentation because I was working on different stuff. But speak to us about, real briefly, about in your presentation to take control.
Yes.
How
Yes.
can we take control when everything is out of control?
Absolutely. There's some things that you can do to take control. You know, because when you're talking about your finances, there are a lot of things that are out of control, and we put a lot of energy on that, right?
Mm.
Things that we cannot control. We don't know the future of Social Security, right? We don't know by the time we retire, will it even be around? Will it be enough money for us? That's something
Yeah.
we can't control. We can't control the rising cost of things. Things are
Yeah.
going to consistently get expensive. Gas is maybe it came down a little bit, but gas was $6 for a while, right? We
Yeah.
can't control that. Remember, eggs went up that
Yes.
time. Like we have no
Yes.
control over the cost of things, right? We have no control over inflation. We have no control over taxes. So we have no control over our jobs. So in a world where you have no control, we are high stressed, right? And so what I want to relieve people today is, listen, let's not focus on the things that we cannot control. There are
Mhm.
things that we can control. For example, we can control saving for retirement. We don't have to rely solely on the job to retire us. We can set up retirement plans, Roth IRAs, annuities. We can set up individual retirement plans, and we don't have to wait for the job to do that. And there is a way where you can set up a retirement plan for like $50. But who
Mhm.
knows first of all, who knows that? Where do you go to find that information? And so teaching people how to not wait for the job to set up a retirement, not waiting for a specific time period to start a retirement plan, starting a retirement plan now. Because think about this, we spend a lot of money on a lot of things. A
Yes.
lot of things that aren't, we're going to get into the needs and the wants, but we spend a lot of money on wants. But if
Mm.
we were to be willing to discipline ourselves for a short period of time, and we can find the money that we already have to put towards saving for retirement. So that's one thing. We also have control over saving money. We can control
Mm.
that. We can control how much we save. We recommend that you save at least 20% of your income. You should be saving 20% of your income. So if you're making $5,000 a month, 20% of that should go back to your savings. Now, we're going to talk later about where to save, but you want to have 20% of your savings, 20% of your income being put away for saving. Those are things you have control over, and those things make you feel powerful. Because if
Mm.
I focus on what I can't control, it makes me feel powerless. How am I going to get out of this? But if you focus on things that you can't control, right? There's ways that you can reduce your income, and you can also find ways to make extra income. Because if you're making extra income, now you can put that money in other places that will serve you later on in life. So I think that's the mindset around taking control, is first off acknowledging the things that you cannot control and
Mhm.
putting that aside and putting all your energy on what you can control and then executing on that.
Yes. Totally agree. Just
Yes.
really briefly on this, because I'm a case. So, what's one of the first steps without anything else? And you guys, I'm gonna have her put her. Well, I'm gonna put her information up for you, and you're gonna see it in the screen, or she could just provide that for you. But for a person that said, "Okay, I need just one step," what do you suggest for our one step?
The first step to seeing, because we got to find the money, right? So first
Mm.
we got to find the money, right? Because we all have income coming in wherever that source is coming from, whether it be, from your job, or if you're getting a set amount of money coming in, doesn't matter. You have income coming in from some source. So
Okay.
first off, you want to write down, and you can simply do this on a white sheet of paper, right? It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be some fancy graph, and we've been tricked to believe that it has to be a certain way. But listen, you have to start with the basics. You can take a white sheet of paper, draw a line on one side, put income, on the other side put expenses. That's how you
Okay.
start it. So I'm going to first see what is coming in and what is going out. Then out of the expenses, I'm going to separate that into two different categories as far as what is needs and what is wants.
Mm.
Needs is you cannot do without it. Wants is, if I did without it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. That's as
Mm.
simply as that, right? So can
Yes.
I live without shelter? I think not. I think I need shelter. Can I live without food? I think I need food, right? I need water. I need electricity. There's certain
Hmm.
things that you do need, but do I really need five apps to watch television. Do I really need that? Am I paying for
Ouch.
HBO, Disney, Netflix? Do I really need that? That would go in the want box. That wouldn't go in the need, because you don't need it. You may want it. You may have a high attachment to it, right? But also you should have a high attachment to your goals, right? How bad do you want to get out of debt? Do you want to have all these extracurriculum things more than you want to get out of debt, more than you want to retire early? Because see, retirement is not a dollar amount. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not an age, it's a dollar amount, right? Because if you had $1 million saved right now, wouldn't you retire right now? You wouldn't wait to the retirement age. Oh no, I got to keep working. I'll wait till I'm 56, 65. You would probably stop working if the income was there.
Yeah.
So in order for you to get that, there's some disciplines and there's some things that we have to deny ourselves temporarily because we want a better life. And
Wow.
and then you have to also ask yourself, Phoebe, how long have I been doing what I'm doing, and am I getting what I want? And if
Wow.
that answer is I'm not, then you have to be open to thinking outside the box and doing things differently. For a short window of time is not forever.
Mm. 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 The ouch came from, and I know some of you all that having those apps, all those apps that we're paying subscriptions to.
Oh my God. That's the bulk of where people's monies go. When I do sit down with a client and I do a budget for them, we always find no less. I mean, the least amount of money I found from a client is maybe like $100. But most of the time it's anywhere from $250 to $500 additional dollars that's not going towards the needs, because we eat out a lot. We do a lot of extracurriculum stuff. We have habits. We're doing Starbucks. We call them $5, right? You're doing $5 every morning, right? It's so many things that we could cut back on to free up the money to put it in a place where it's going to serve us later. So they say save money now so money can save you later.
Ouch. Ouch and ouch. Okay. So we're going to transition because again, Lauren, yes. Okay, she does offer financial coaching. And I started my first session with her. And you know what, can you say your information for me, please?
Yes. So to contact me, you can contact me by phone or email. Either one, I'm pretty responsive. My phone number is area code 909-583-5508. That's my phone. And my email address is financialspecialist, one word, .lt, Latoya Turner, @gmail.
Okay. I'm writing this down, and you guys, I'm gonna have it in the comments, or I'm gonna try to stream it. I'm on a different device, so just bear with me. Also, tax filing. Girls are grown. Sometimes they have questions, and I don't understand. And that's what this is. 101 part 1. Next month we're gonna have part 2. She's gonna go into the details of that. But I don't know if you want to touch a little basis on her questions for the filing taxes. If you can you see her comment?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm gonna show it. There you go.
Do you offer financial coaching for us who haven't been taught basic financial knowledge, also tax filing information? My girls are grown. Sometimes I have questions. I don't know. So as far as taxes, I'm not a tax specialist. I know enough to be a little dangerous, but I would definitely want to send you over to a specialist where it comes to taxes. But I may have some knowledge around it just to give you some direction. And then if I feel like it's something that is beyond me, I would refer you. But to answer your question, yes, I do offer financial coaching to get you to a place where you're, because a lot of times we just need the start. And then you also need the push. You need the start and then the push. The push that I'm going to offer is just holding you accountable, right? Think about when you're trying to lose weight, right? And you're trying to do it on your own versus when you have a trainer that comes in and that's telling you, you have to do this today. You have to do this by the end of the week. You have to, and so that's just where I come in. Or think about if you're in sports, you need a coach. So I'm just there to really just keep you accountable to your own goals. Because we all have things that we want to accomplish. And listen, we are not getting any younger in this world. And so we have things that we want to accomplish. So we need to come up with timelines and deadlines. So that's the next thing you do is write down your goals. What do you want to have happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years? In the next 5 years, if you want to own a home, we need to put that on the board. That is a goal that we want to accomplish, because you have to sometimes have the end in mind. Where are you going? And then we can reverse engineer it, and we can come up with a game plan to see how we can get
Mm.
there. And even if we have to move it, you know, maybe we get to the 4th year and we still need a little bit of time. Okay, we'll move it out to another 2 years. But at least we have a goal in mind and we have a roadmap, right? If you're driving, right, and you don't know where you're going, what are you going to do? Use Google. You're going to use the map, right, to let it guide you. Well, that's all we're doing. It's just guiding you, right? No, hold up. This week, Miss Phoebe, maybe we don't want to, maybe can you cut back on the Starbucks this week, you know, because we want to save that money, because you want to take that trip to Italy next month. So whatever it is, we're just, you know, the goal is just to hold you accountable for it so that you accomplish what you want.
Yes.
And so definitely writing down your goals and putting timelines on stuff. And sometimes we're afraid to put timelines on it because we're like, well, what if I don't hit it? That's okay. It doesn't matter if you don't hit it. You'll probably be closer than you were had you not made a goal.
Yeah.
So you still
Yeah.
have something to be proud of. You
Yeah.
still say, you know what? I may not have saved up the 10,000 I want, but I'm at 6,000. Had I not even started this plan, I wouldn't even be here. So you still would
Wow.
have progress, and you can pat yourself on the back by the progress. And we just extend the goal out. So that would be my next. First, writing down your income versus your expenses, separating your wants from your needs, and then writing the goals. What do you want to accomplish? And then let's come up with the game plan to see, well, how much do you need to have saved to get to that goal? By
Right.
what time you need to have that? And that's how we'll just reverse engineer it. But it's got to be some cutting back on some stuff.
And
Yeah.
thank you so much, because you've transitioned into the other portion of, list your goals, get your personal prioritize your list. This is what she has me doing.
Yes.
Create a timeline and do the math. So she has me doing this. I have homework. So you
Yeah.
have on your pay yourself. What do you mean by that?
And that's because what happens is, soon as we get our paycheck, the first thing we do is pay our bills. First thing we do is pay the mortgage, we pay the electricity, we pay all these bills, and money is going out. But
Mm.
my challenge to you is pay you first, right? And what do I mean by that? You have a goal to retire soon. You have a goal to buy a house. You have a goal to send your kids to college. You have a goal to travel the world. You have goals yourself. So when you pay the bills, you should pay you too. And so you're going to put money aside in 3 fundamental accounts, right? When you're putting money away for yourself, what we've all been known to do is just put it in the bank account, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The only problem with putting money into a bank account is your money doesn't do anything.
Mm.
We don't see our money grow in the bank account. It just
Mm.
sits there. And so the banks don't return us high rates of return. And that hinders us from seeing our money grow. The statistic shows that African Americans have the least, they're the race that have the least amount of money in the market.
Yes.
And guess what we do? We are consumers though. We buy Apple products, we buy Google products, we buy all this name brand stuff, but we don't have any shares in none of those companies. And you can purchase shares in those companies, right? Everybody was recently watching the Knicks, the New York Knicks win the championship. Do you know you can invest into the New York Knicks? You know they're a publicly traded company. How much money would your stock have made right now? But we're intimidated by that conversation because nobody sat down and really taught it to us. So the goal is to get you to not consuming things and become an owner of things. So the first type of account that you want to set up is you want to set up an emergency fund, and that's going to be something like a money market account. A money market account is an account where it's a high yield savings account. A savings account, your average savings account will probably get you about 0.07% interest. I'm gonna repeat that. Your average savings account is going to give you 0.07% interest. And I'm probably being generous when I say that. What that equates to in layman terms is it'll be a penny at the end of the year that you will gain from having your money in there.
Wow.
A money market account gives you roughly around 3%, which is still not a large amount, but it's better than 0.07%. But the money market account is the first account you want to set up because the goal behind that is to set aside money in the event an emergency happens. And I don't even have to say in the event. When an emergency happens, you want to have a place to pull the money that's outside of your checking and savings, because your checking
Mm,
and savings is where you live off of. That's where you're paying all your bills from. So you don't want to try to save. The issue is we commingle the money and put it all in one place. And money, you have to have, it has to be designated and have a specific purpose. So the money market account I'm going to get my paycheck and I'll put money in my money market account first, pay myself first, then pay my bills. Because I'm only using 20%. So now I put money in my money market account. So after over a course of 3 to 6 months, I want to have that amount. I want to have my income saved up. So when the car breaks down, when that unexpected bill comes through, now I have a place to pull the money outside of my checking account where I'm paying my bills from. So that's the first account. The second account you want to have is a short-term savings geared towards anything you want to accomplish in the next 3 to 5 years, whether that be starting a business or starting a foundation or traveling. You want a money you want to have a short-term account. That account could look like something like another high yield account, but that could be something
mm-hmm.
like a mutual fund, right? Because it's not money that you want to have right now. Your bank account is money right now. These accounts are for future, when things happen, when I may need the money. Because how
Mm.
many times do we get into a bad situation, right, financially, and just because of that, because I'm a paralegal, so I know I filed many bankruptcies, and for most people, Phoebe, it's one situation that sets them back for years. It
Say
could be
that.
just it could just be their check was low, or they got sick, or it'd be one situation and they didn't have the finances to address it properly, and it sets them back for years. And they
Yeah.
can trace it back and tell you, yeah, it all started when this happened. It all started when I got divorced or when this happened. And so what we want to do is, because we've lived enough life to know that things are going to happen, how about we start preparing for it ahead of time? So we
Mm.
don't keep falling in those same loopholes. We already know things are going to come about unexpectedly. So these accounts are just like preventive accounts. So when things happen, you can address them comfortably and it doesn't set you so far back in life. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And you all, when we come back in July, she's going to go through the details of the mutual funds, the investing part of it. So it
Yes.
looks like you kind of basically gave us transition into that, as far as the investing part of it. Okay, so you talked about the high cost of waiting. Is that all encompassing with that? We're just touching bases because again, I'm gonna have her to come back and we're gonna go in detail next month.
Yes.
It is
And
very much so
so,
needed. Yes,
yes.
Lauren.
And when you talk about the high cost of waiting, the concept behind that is we wait too long before we start investing money. We wait too long before well, part of it is because where do you go to get this information? Who's teaching it
Mm-hmm.
to us? So that plays a role in it too. But my challenge is, once you get exposed to it, how quickly will you act on it? Because I see
Mm.
so many people that get exposed to the information. It's great information, but then we still procrastinate and we still don't take care of it. So when you wait, it only costs you more money. Because if my goal is to retire by 60, then I got to get started today. I can't wait till I'm 50 and start putting away money for retirement. And I don't recommend that anybody solely rely on their job, because if you look at the way
Ooh.
people are retiring today, is it really working for them? When you talk about overall, sure, there's people that you can figure that are exceptions to the rule, but when you look at a lot of people who are still working at the Walmarts and pushing baskets, and it's people that have retired already and they're
Mm.
back at a job. You probably know someone that has retired and still working.
Wow.
So if we listen, warning comes before destruction. We already are seeing how people relying solely on their retirement from their job is not putting people in a better situation. So there's other options. Not that we should get rid of it, but we should have something secondary that we have more control over. So
True.
setting up, so waiting to start investing will ultimately cost you time. And you would,
Jesus.
and it will be harder for you to generate the kind of money that you want to retire, that you want to have in retirement, so you can stay retired. The goal is to retire and stay retired. The goal is not to retire after working 40 years and then say, I still don't have enough money, I got to go back. What was the point? The
Mm.
point is to retire and stay retired. And so we can game plan that now
Yeah.
beforehand so that we don't wind up in those pitfalls.
So if you could just touch a little bit on this, because like I said, next month you'll go a little deeper into it. For
Mhm.
those of us that do work, how important is it to invest in our 401k,
Yes.
and what should we be putting the
Yes.
match at?
So whatever they allow you to match, max out on that. So I for sure you would always want to max out on that. But also what you want to do is, these are two important things that this is things that you can do today. Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to call your human resources, get in contact with your benefit program, and you want to ask this important question: what is my rate of return? You need to know how much money your money is making. You need to know that, because now you can make different decisions once you have that amount. So that's an important number you need to know. How quickly, because you want to know how quickly is my money investing.
Right. Yeah.
Because whatever that interest rate is, you can put that number into a financial calculator and it'll tell you specifically how much money you'll have in retirement. Just
Okay.
based off the interest rate. You put the balance in a financial calculator, you put your balance in your retirement plan, you put the interest rate, and you put the number of years that you're going to continue investing in. And it will tell you how much money exactly you will have by the time it's in retirement. When you put that number in there and you see that it won't be enough, now you can make changes. Now you can make some adjustments. So that's the first thing you want to know. And the second thing you want to know is you want to get your statement, because you want to find out where your money's being invested. Is it all being invested in bonds? Is it, because it's so many places that they can be putting your money. And when you sign up for a job, they're not financial advisors. So they're not thinking, let me put Phoebe in the best possible plan. They're just putting you in a plan. That's not their intention. They're not financial people, right? And so you want to see where the bulk of your money is being invested. Because it's one thing to invest, it's another thing to know where it's being invested. Because bonds have low rates of return. So you don't get a lot from the bonds. They're safe, but your money's not making a lot of money in it. So you may just have to move where your money is being invested so that you can maximize. But you won't know that unless you get your statement. So you need to know your rate of return, and you need to know where your money is being invested. That's important information. Your human resources would never have these conversations with you, because that's not their job. Their job is just to do paperwork and facilitate the information. They're not financial people. But we have to learn this information.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
This is really good. So now we're going to touch on real quick life insurance. And
Yes.
this is very sensitive to me. And I really got to be on this, because if we do this, no matter what, we may have to cut back, but we won't have so many GoFundMes when our loved ones pass away. But take it away.
Especially in our community. Certain communities, they grow up with this information. They already know. They've been transferring wealth to the next generation for years. We're so behind when it comes to this, right?
Yeah.
And mainly because of, when we think about insurance, first we think about it as a bill. So we don't no more bills. And the second thing is, we only buy enough to take care of final expenses. So we already are walking into it with not the right mindset, right? We have to look at it as not a bill, but an investment. Who wants their family to have to struggle to put them away, or have to still be responsible for the debt that they leave behind? Who wants to leave that burden on their family? So that's one thing. Secondly, especially if you have husband and children, you want to make sure that you have enough money put away that your family financially doesn't have to struggle. And then take care of the final expenses. But there's debt that could be left behind. There's homes that may still need to be paid off. And an insurance policy can make sure that assets are taken care of, are kept in the family. And it also can make sure that all debt is paid off and all final expenses can paid off. And You can also like put yourself in position to leave. If you have young children or a spouse, you can actually leave them money. So they have options, right? The
Mm.
bereavement is what, 3 days now? Where
Yeah.
if someone passes, you have like 3 or 4 days to breathe and then you got to go back to work.
Yes.
But how about if I had money saved? I have an option to where, you know what, I might just quit this job because I got my wife, my husband, they left me enough money where I can sustain myself for 6 months or a year if I need to
Yeah.
take that time off. Just giving
Yeah.
your family options. And so that is what, so you have to think about how much is your car worth, right?
Mm.
And some people say 20,000, 30,000, right? And you insure it. You insure the car. But how much is your life worth? It's priceless to your family. But
Mm.
also with your life is attached, it's not free to pass away, unfortunately. It's not free. It costs money. And I want to
Yeah.
make sure that that cost, I cover it for my family.
Yeah.
They say
Yeah.
insurance is the last love letter you can give your family because you're putting them in position where although I'm gone, financially, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
How good, how would you know how encouraging that is for people, right? And so just teaching people that the importance of insurance, why you want to have it. For the most
Mhm.
part, it's not as expensive as most people think. Of course, there's different types of plans out there, so you have to decide,
Yeah.
what's the best plan for you. But there
Yeah.
are reasonable plans that you can get into that can ensure that your family is solid when something happens financially.
Okay. So Lauren says, so good. I have whole life. Is that the best to get?
Um, I can't say what's the best thing to get, but what I'd like to do with people who have existing insurance is just read their plans for them. Because if I read it for you, I don't want to go off of just saying that is good or this bad. I'd rather read it because the contract is ultimately what your family, is what your family will get. So reading the contract to see how your plan actually works, because we know that we need it and we buy it, and kudos to that young lady who has insurance. Obviously you see the importance of it, but now you need to make sure that it is the right plan for yourself. You do need to make
Yeah.
sure that. And so I know with a lot of whole life, and all of them don't work that way, but with a lot of whole life policies, you have the ability to use the money. And I just encourage people that they don't do that, only because it reduces the actual death benefit. But not
Mm.
every plan works like that. So that's my only concern with certain whole life plans is if you have the policy and you decide to, use the money because they make that available to you, well, it diminishes the actual life insurance. So if I
Okay.
have 100,000 and I use some of the money, then my insurance policy isn't 100,000 anymore. And I told my family was 100, but I'm using the money. And typically you're not going to tell your family that you're using the money because it could be an emergency, it could be a personal
Right.
situation. And so,
Right.
but what happens is something happens, the company, will deduct all that from the actual insurance proceeds. Like I said, what I would recommend that person do is you can set up a time with me and I would read it for you so you
Yeah.
have the full understanding. And then you decide. My job is to just give you information because that is what most of us don't get. We buy, but we don't have the education. So
Right.
the goal is to give you the knowledge and then you decide, okay, now that I have what this is and what this, now I can make a better and more informed decision because now I took a complicated, because insurance policies are very hard to read. And what I
Hmm.
do is I simplify that stuff. I strip away all the big words and all
Yeah.
that and just have you simply understand it so you can make a proper decision.
And I just have a really quick question on that, because I'm learning the older I get.
Yes.
So when let's say we have an insurance policy, it may not be a lot, but it's enough
Ye-
to at least put our loved one away.
Yes.
What are your suggestions on it? Because sometime um, we will get that money and just spend it all on the funeral and the burial, and we don't have anything because this is just my opinion. Everybody can do what they want to, but it leaves us deficit. We don't have it, but yet we have this elaborate service.
Right.
Can you
Yeah.
speak to us
Yes.
on?
Yes. I typically my the when I talk to people about insurance, of course I have to see, because your insurance, what you can afford for insurance is based off your income. So that is a factor. So when deciding what's the best plan for you, remember, we've already done the budget. This thing, all it happens is a sequential order. Once we do the budget and we see what's left over, right?
Okay.
We're going to take a portion of that to contribute it towards the insurance. So we're going to give you the most your money can afford. So if you have an extra $100 left over and we can contribute that towards your insurance, that could be $150,000 worth of coverage. And if you have $150,000 worth of coverage, what I recommend you do is now maybe set up a trust to designate how the money is to be spent. So you can set up a trust. This is called it's called a trust estate, where you can actually designate how you want the money to be spent. So you can specifically tell the family, out of this $150,000, I want $25,000 only contributed to my final expenses. I want $50,000 to go towards purchasing a home. I want another $25,000 put in my grandkids' college funds. You can specifically designate how every single dime is spent. And guess what? Wealthy people do it all the time. They designate how their money is to be spent to guarantee that the money stays for longer than just like you said, just they do burial and then it's gone. So so first we'd figure out how much we want to max out, how much you can get based off what you can afford. And then once we get that, the next step could be where we set up a trust and kind of designate how that money is spent, especially when you have kids. The best thing you can do for your kids is write everything out clear as day to them. The worst thing you can do is leave it up to them. I have been doing probate and just having families when money becomes is put on the table, people, they act out, unfortunately. But if you've already designated how things are to be played out, you have just made things much simpler for the family, and you've kept less drama in the family. Because now they can't argue your wishes. They have to honor them.
That is so true. That is so true. So just a basic, and we're almost done, you guys. Some people don't, because I want them to really understand that you guys really, I'm putting up the information as we go, but really reach out to her because she's so thorough. She's so, you're just patient, and she ministers at the same time. But I want to say this real quick. For those of us that read our word, we do know paying your tithes. Yes. That's an automatic blessing. You can't get around that part of it. Absolutely. But following her structure, she coaches you for you. She don't coach you for a general out of everybody. She really does coach you for you. But I have a question, because some people don't understand the difference between, and this is just a basic, okay? Yes. Between having a savings and investing, because I know you touched a little on it, but some people don't understand what is that, and kind of just jump in and jump out of it. What is like a mutual fund? Because some people, this is foreign to them.
Yes, of course. And it was foreign to me before I learned it. But a basic savings account is you just putting your money in the bank and it doesn't do anything. It's just sitting there. That's all it does. It just sit there, right? When you invest like something like a mutual fund, and what you're doing is you're buying into the economy. What is the economy? The economy is made up of all the big name companies. So every big name company you could think about: Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Popeyes, all the companies, right? And you get the opportunity to buy shares in those companies with the mutual fund, right? So I may not be able to afford Apple stock by myself, but if I buy a mutual fund is all those companies all in one, and I'm just buying a piece of it. So when those companies do well, I earn money from the companies doing well. Because there's so many companies in there, even if one does bad, that doesn't impact me because it's 150 companies. So 20 can be down and 130 of them could be up. So it still doesn't impact me. And that's the fear people have around investing, because they think when the companies are down, they're going to lose everything. And that's not true. It's not a true statement. For you to lose, this is what happens. If I invest into one share, though, so let's say I only purchase Tesla, and then Tesla goes down, my shares go down, but I only lose money really if I try to cash out As long as my money stays there, what we know about the economy is things will go up and they will go down, but they always come back up again. So I only have a loss if I get scared and panic and take all my money out because I see the shares are down. So you cannot panic when you see the shares are down, because as long as we've been living, the economy has always done this. It will always forever do this, but it never stays down for long and it never stays up for long.
Okay.
So you just have to wait it out when things are down. You just have to wait it out, not try to pull the money out, because then you will the loss will be what is called realized when you pull it out. But as long as you sit it in, let it stay in there, and let it wait it out, it's going to go back up. And typically when it goes back up, it goes back up way more than it was where you started from. And so you get to benefit from your, the interest going back up again. So that's basically a mutual fund.
Good.
You will earn money from, like I said, think about, I own Apple stock and I have an Apple phone. So guess what? When Apple comes out with a new product and everybody's standing in the line, my shares are going up because everybody's buying into Apple. Wow. You have to become an owner of the things that you purchase and use on a daily basis. If you're using Amazon, you better have some Amazon stock. You're using it every day. Basically you'd be investing in your own self because you own shares in it, right? So whomever you utilize used to buy shares in those companies. And mutual fund is the easiest way to buy the shares because it's one fund that consists of multiple shares.
Okay, you have said a lot right there.
Yes, I know that was a lot.
No. What I'm saying is that was impactful because I am that person that will panic. I have known customers panic. I need to get all my money out, but patience. I get you. I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
I hear you. And then I also hear you, but we're going to have our one-on-one, but I hear you, whatever we have, get shares in what we have. I mean, because, that was huge for me. So anyway, so as transitioning, what is our next action? Because you guys, like I said, I'm going to put her information up. Truly reach out to her. Really reach out to her because she has me at the basic. And when I was like, well, I could try to do this, she said, no, do the one thing. Yeah. So I have homework, y'all. Yes. So tell us, for those of what's the next step? And I'm gonna put her information up here.
Yes. Of course, the next step is definitely, get with someone like me, somebody who's in the financial industry, and just get a simple game plan. Your homework tonight would be to see what is coming in and what is going out. You need to see those numbers because when we hear budget, we always hear like we're sacrificing something or we're missing out on something. And you can't look at budgeting that way. Budgeting is really you setting yourself up for a better future. That's how you have to look at it. I'm really setting myself up. So you want to tonight look at that number, and we're so scared to look at it because we already know. We know what we're spending money on, but look at your income, do your expenses, and then do a category for your wants and your needs. And that want category, see how much is going towards just wants. And if you got some of these banking apps, they break it down for you. The banking apps will show you what you spent on food, because even food, you can cut back on that. And when you realize where the money is going, right, outside of the necessary things, that money is what we're going to capture. And that is the money we're going to use to start setting up your plan. So you don't have to do new money. You don't really have to do anything different. All you're doing is reorganizing where the money is going. So it's not even new money. Yeah. That's the powerful thing. So now we're not going to say, keep spending what you're spending and then start doing this. No, we're going to look at how you're spending it and just reorganize where it's going. And then you will feel good about yourself after 1 month, 2 months of seeing, man, I actually have some money saved and it's not attached to my bank account. These are different accounts. And guess what that does? That actually makes you look better on paper when you've diversified. Diversified is you having other financial instruments and other places where you have your money, because most of us only have it in our bank account and our retirement plan. So now you're diversifying what makes you way more attractive to people that you're trying to lend from. You look way more attractive on paper when you say, I have a portfolio. A portfolio is I have several financial instruments where my money is going, not just one.
Okay.
That increases your asset column. Gets
Okay.
increased when you start adding financial accounts.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be my advice to you. I hope that this was helpful for somebody. I am an open book. You can always call me, ask questions, allow me to guide you, give you the information. And then if I can help, I definitely want to be of service. And thank you once again, Ms. Phoebe.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. And I'm gonna piggyback Marty when I heard him. You guys text her. Don't overwhelm her with call. Text her. And I promise she will get back with you. She is not, I have tried this before with other people and they don't respond back. But I did. I think I texted and emailed. I don't even know which one I did. But she responded right away. She had an appointment for me. And please reach out to her. Please, and like and share this as well. Latoya, thank you. Thank you so much. We will come back next month. She's going into, well, you know what? You can let them know.
Yes. I wanted to go a little bit more into the legal, the living trust and the wills, really just teaching people how to estate plan, right? And for most people, Phoebe, we think, well, I don't really have nothing, but we do. And there's ways that you can create an estate. And so just teaching people how to make sure that they're really leaving a legacy behind, especially if you have young children or if you have grandchildren and you just have a family who you just want to make sure that, I made a staple on their life. I was impactful and I left something substantial behind. And so just understanding, how to avoid probate. And it still all ties into some of the finances because that's how you can fund your living trust with these financial products.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you guys heard it. So we'll be back next month. I guess I'll just do the live. We'll be live. Okay. Okay. But thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing day. Thank you for chiming in. And like I said, like and share, reach out to her. She's amazing. Okay. Latoya, have an amazing and blessed day and stay on here. I'm just going to stop it, but stay on. But y'all, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye. Hold on.